Welcome to TY SolidWorks Module 1 Lesson 1, the Lego Brick Project. So in this video we are going to run through the basics of SolidWorks and complete a short project at the end of that. As you go through the video, if you find yourself struggling, just rewind a few seconds and watch that part again. SolidWorks will be completely new to most of you, so this video is specifically aimed at beginners, so don't worry about that. Okay, so we get straight into it. So when you double click on SolidWorks, this is what greets you straight away. Generally what we want to start with is always going to be this one here, a part. Okay, so if you click on part, you will load up. Generally your computer will be quite slow because SolidWorks takes a lot to run. Okay, we are greeted with this. So I'm just going to move this off the screen. Okay, so if you're greeted with this, what I generally do as soon as I come into it, I just click on the screen. That makes everything disappear on the right hand side, so we just have our full screen. So just to run through a few important parts. So the names of the different areas are going to be important for finding where things are. So in the middle here where I'm hovering with the mouse, that is called your graphics area. Right? So that's where you actually draw where object is going to appear later on. Right? Over to the left here is called your feature tree. So every time you draw something or you cut a hole through something or add something on, that extra command will appear underneath here. So if we draw something, it'll appear here as a sketch. If we cut a hole through it, it'll appear here as well. So everything that we do appears over this side. These small tabs here, okay, so what they are called are command tabs. Okay, so if I tell you to look for the tab, it's one of those buttons. Okay, when you click on the tab, what you get up here are different type of commands. So under sketch, you'd have a different type of command to what you have when you click features. So tabs and commands. Sometimes what I call them is these as tabs and these as buttons, just to make a difference. So I'd say the sketch tab and the sketch button, just to make things as easy as possible. Okay. That is all we really need to know about the layout for now. What will happen is as we go through projects and stuff, you'll just start picking up tricks and names without even realizing it. So the easiest way is to start with making something. So the Lego brick, you can find the instructions on Teams if you'd like to do it that way, and you can read them as well as listen to me, or most people would just listen to what I'm saying, watch what I'm doing, pause it after a couple of seconds and go and do it themselves. So it's up to you which way you want to go about it. So what we're drawing today is a Lego brick. So you've all played with Lego at some stage growing up. So we're just going to make one brick that you'll be all familiar with. So the first thing we're always going to do is we sketch in 2D what we want to make later on in 3D. So what we're going to click on is the sketch tab. So make sure that you have the sketch tab clicked, then the sketch button. What appears here then is the planes of reference. Okay. So anyone who has done junior cert graphics will be familiar with this. If you haven't, basically what these are three options for where our object is going to sit. So if we pick the top plane, we're going to draw onto that, our object is going to sit on top of it. We're going to be looking down on top of it. If we pick the front plane, we're going to be looking in straight at it. If we pick the right plane, we're looking in from the side at it. So simple way to remember that is the front plane is like looking at the front door of your house. That would be your front plane. The top plane would be like if you're a bird in the sky looking down on your house and you see the roof. That's the top plane. And then the right plane is you're at the side of your house, you're at the gable end looking in. That's what your right plane would be. So that's the simple way of looking at it. For this, the easiest way for us to draw it is to look straight down on top of it. So we're going to click top plane. Okay, and you can see that it rotated around, so now that we're looking straight down on top of our future object. So what we're going to start with, we're going to start drawing the rough shape of the Lego brick. So I'm going to start with a center rectangle. So if we hover up here, still in sketch tab, we've all these options up here of different shapes, lines and so on. There's an arrow beside all of them, so at the moment it's at a center rectangle, but just say it wasn't. If we click this arrow, we get all the different types of rectangles. So we want a center rectangle. So very important thing here, this red dot that appears near those arrows, that is called the origin. So every time we start sketching, we always start at the origin. Okay. So how to sketch something in SolidWorks is if we hover over the origin, I'm going to left click once and then move my mouse away. So I haven't clicked anything yet, that's why it's still able to be changed, the size is able to be changed. And then I just click again to finish it off. As you can see, the little pencil is still on the end of the mouse. That means I can still draw rectangles if I clicked on something. I don't want that to happen. So if I press escape, top left on my keyboard, a couple of times, that will get rid of that. Okay. So sometimes when you draw something like that, it might look like it's really small or really far away. If you press F on your keyboard, that brings it into view. If you find that that's too big, if you use the wheel of your mouse and have the mouse somewhere towards the middle of your object, if you roll one way, it gets smaller. If you roll the other way, it gets bigger. What you notice though is if you have your mouse off to the side, your object will just disappear. Again, then F to get back into the screen. Okay, so now we have to give this object a size. So what I'm going to do is back up. So we're still in the sketch tab. I'm going to click on this button, Smart Dimension. And on the left hand side of my rectangle, I'm going to click on it once, move this away. I haven't clicked yet. That's why it's still moving. Click again and disappears. So I can type in the measurement that I want. So I want to make this side 16 millimeters long. Type in 16, click the green tick. I'm still in Smart Dimension. I know that because the button is still clicked up here, which is good because I want to change the size of this. So click once on the line. So just to highlight that again. When you want to click on a line, you hover over till it turns orange. When it's orange, that means you can click on it. You click once, you move it down out of the way somewhere, it doesn't matter exactly. Click again, and now you can type in your measurement. So I want to make this 32 mil. Another way, instead of clicking the green tick, is if you hit the enter key on your keyboard. That does the same thing. Okay. And I just press F to fit it all on the screen there. If these are kind of annoying you afterwards, so just say 32 here is too close, I can click on it and hold and just drag it out of the way. Okay. And then I have to press escape again to get rid of what was over on the left hand side. Okay, so another thing I'm going to show you is, for example, what a lot of people do is they will double click over here by accident, and what happens is you've exited the sketch. You can't do anything to it now, and all your measurements have disappeared. And this is where people start to think, oh, SolidWorks is impossible, I don't know what's going on. That's just a simple mistake. It's easy to get back into a sketch. So earlier I mentioned this tree over here. We made this sketch so it appears down here. So if I click on that once, I get all these options. And the option I want is to edit sketch. You can see by looking up here, we're back in the sketch. If I wanted to do it on purpose, if I wanted to exit sketch on purpose, there's two ways I could do it. I could click exit sketch. Okay, if I go back in, I'll show you the other one. Or I can click this blue button over here. Does the same thing. Okay. And like I said earlier, if you happen to double click or triple click by accident, it will go out of the sketch too. Okay, but we want to be in this sketch. That's just to show you how to get in and out of a sketch. So back into the sketch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make this sketch 3D. Okay, so to do that, we are finished in the sketch tab for the moment. We want to go to the features tab beside it. Okay, to make something 3D, You can see if you hover over it tells you what all of them do anyway. But the one that we nearly always deal with when we're making something 3D is extruded boss base. Okay, so if we click that, you can see it gives us a 3D view of what this might look like when we're done. So that's just an example. That's not what, it's not actually fully finished yet. So over to the left hand side here, this, see where it says blind, so that's called the end condition. That will be important moving forward. If you click that, you get loads of different options. So for example, we might be told sometime to make something mid-plane. What that means is it splits the distance evenly either side of your sketch, whereas blind is just one side. This arrow beside it changes the direction, so in this case it's going above our sketch. If we click this, it goes below our sketch. So in this case we want it actually above, and we want it as blind anyway. We want to change here though the depth or the thickness. Okay, so you see there I clicked and this turned blue. I can just start typing straight away because that will disappear. I don't have to delete everything. Okay, and I actually want to keep it at 10 millimeters anyway, so just to show you, if I want to change it to 20, it disappears anyway. I don't have to press delete. I want it at 10. So 10 millimeters is the number we want. And then what we can do then is, this green arrow is sometimes called the OK button. So if we click OK, and then click on the screen, makes the lines disappear, we have a 3D object. Okay. Another trick to show you is, if you hold down the wheel of your mouse and then move your mouse, you can rotate the object. Another way of doing this is using the arrows on your keyboard. That will move it as well. And just for argument's sake, if we can't get it into the position we want, we have another way of doing it. We can click the space bar and this box appears. So these are all the different views we can view this from. So if we click this, this is what it looks like from the front, this is what it looks like from the top, and then over to the right here we have 3D views. So we can look at an isometric, and there's diametric and trimetric. There's very little difference in all of them, just a different angle, I suppose. The most common one we use is isometric. Another way of doing that is, if you come up here, see view orientation appears, it does the same thing. Just another way of getting it. I prefer using the space bar. I find it quicker, because when I look up here, I always find it hard to remember which one is which, so it takes me longer. Whereas with my space bar, it appears straight away. If I click on it and I don't want to do anything, if I've just done it by mistake, I can just press escape and it goes back to the way it was. Another tip to show you is over here where we have boss extrude. Okay, this arrow beside it reveals our sketch that we drew earlier. So for argument's sake, if we wanted to go back into this sketch, we could click on it, click edit sketch, and we could change some of the measurements if we wanted that. We could double click on them and change from 32 to another measurement. We're not going to do that, that's just to show you how to do it. Likewise, if we want to change the boss extrude, we can right or left click on it, we get edit feature, and we can change this measurement to whatever size we want, but we're not changing it, we're going to leave it at 10 mm. That's just to show you how to do it. Okay, so after every time we do something significant, what we do is we save the object. Okay, so up here you'll see the drop down tab, and the first time you save it, I would always go save as, and save it somewhere you know you're going to find it. So in our case, we have a folder set up in our computer called TY SolidWorks, and your name, so you'll just save it into that. Okay, it's like saving a Word document, the exact same. Then every other time you want to save it after this, so for the rest of this lesson, just click on the big button here or press Ctrl and S. That's the same thing. Okay, so now that we have the big block made, what we're going to do is we're going to take out or hollow out the inside of this block to make it easy for us. So we're going to rotate around so we're looking underneath, and I'm going to click on the underneath side. Still in the features tab, I want to find what's called a shell. So if you think like if you're on the beach, you found a shell. Shell is hollow inside. That's what we're going to do with this. So it's already selected the face because we had it clicked, which is perfect. We just want to change the distance or the thickness to 1 millimeter. Okay. And then click the green tick. There you have it. We're left with a hollowed out center. So that leaves us with 1 millimeter all the way around. Okay, so just going to look at it in 3D. There you have it. Looks perfectly normal from that view, and then if we rotate underneath, it's hot. Okay, so what we want to do next would be tricky to do if we left it looking solid. So what we can do is come up here to display style, click on that, and we get loads of different options. Okay, so this one gets rid of the kind of dark edges. This one puts it in black and white. This one shows us some hidden detail. And then this one shows the hidden detail of solid lines, which is kind of difficult to see. So the one that we want in this case is this one. So hidden lines visible. What we're going to do now is we're going to click on this top face here. This box appears. And we're going to select normal to, which means 90 degrees. So now we're looking 90 degrees to the top of that box. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to sketch. So if I click on the sketch tab, the sketch button, it tells me down here that I have to select a plane, a face, or whatever to sketch on. So I'm going to come into the middle of this, select that top face, and then we're going to sketch on the top face. Okay, so my first job is find a circle. So I'm still in sketch, still in the sketch as I can see over here. Select the circle. There's two different types. We want just a normal circle, and I'm just going to draw any size circle that fits roughly about there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the size on it. So I'm going to click on Smart Dimension, click on the outside of the circle once, and then click again. And I want to make it diameter 6. Okay. So from here to here is 6 millimeters. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the control button on my keyboard. So it's the bottom left button. Hold that down. I'm going to click the circle. I'm going to click this dotted line here. And I'm going to click tangent. Okay. So you can see what that has done. It has moved the circle over till it touches this dotted line once. I'm going to do the same down here. So I'm going to hold down control, click on this dotted line, and click tangent. Click the green. So what that has done now, it has fixed this circle into place on the bottom corner. Okay. So I'm just going to change it back to this view, and I'm going to look at it 3D. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the Features tab. I'm going to click on Extrude Emboss Base to make this part of the brick 3D, and I'm going to make it, leave it as blind, and change the distance to 1.6 millimeters. Okay, and when I'm happy with that, click the green tick. Click on the screen, get rid of the lines, and there we have it. Our first of those bits that stick up on a Lego brick. You can see down here, everything that we've done so far is starting to appear. And as you hover over here, it becomes orange in the design area, in the graphics area. So there's our shell, original emboss extrude. Okay, so as we know from Lego bricks, they don't look as rough or as sharp as this. So what we're going to put on it is called a fillet. Okay, so for anyone who does woodwork or construction, you're going to come across what a fillet is at some stage in that. So basically what it is, it's going to round the edges so they're not as sharp. Right? So what we have to do now, when we click on the fillet button, I clicked on that, you get two choices up here. So you have manual fillet or fillet expert. Okay, so manual fillet means you are fully in control of where the fillet goes and what it does, which is great sometimes, but then sometimes you need to use a fillet expert if you're doing something really difficult and the computer will work it out for you. So just to get in the habit of using this time, I'm going to use fillet expert, and I am going to change the size. What will work? So I'm going to go to a radius of 0.25. 0.25. Okay, and what I'm going to select are, so items to fillet, make sure that's blue. I'm going to select this edge and this edge. Okay, and then I'm going to select apply. So that has rounded both those edges. I'm going to change the size of the radius this time to 0.1. And we'll make sure this is still blue. This time I'm going to just select every outer edge of the object and use the wheel of the mouse to rotate around to get these two outside edges, and then click apply. Okay. So happy enough with that, so I'm going to click the green button here. So just to show you how flexible SolidWorks is, just for example, if you're doing an important project and you realize halfway through that, look, I'm after making a mistake with this, you don't have to start again, which is the good thing. Okay? You can simply go back and change sizes later on. So this boss extrude, if I want to change the size of that like I showed you earlier, if I click on it once, I get edit feature. So I want to change this from 1.6 to 2 mil. I think that's going to look a bit more realistic. So again, because this is blue over here, I don't need to delete everything and just type in 2 and click the green tick, and there it appears for me 2 mil. So click the green tick again and it updates, and it brings everything back in as well. So after doing something like that, I will click the save button. Okay, so our next job, we are going to add Lego writing to this face of the object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this face. When this appears, I'm going to click normal 2. I'm going to click on the sketch tab and the sketch button. Because I had this already clicked, that knows I'm going to sketch on that tab straight away. So what we're going to do, we're going to go up to line, click the arrow beside line and click center line. So center line is like a line for construction. It's like a really light hidden line that doesn't have any bearing or anything, it just helps us draw something. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to draw somewhere on this circle, but I don't want to see this diamond that appears here. I don't want to click on those because that means it's going to be perfectly across the center, and that's not what I want. I want it to be a little bit below. Click it once, drag my line across until it hits the other side, and click once again. What I need to have is, I need to have this green one appear here, which says coincident, this green one appear here that says coincident as well, and this one which says horizontal. Okay, so that means I've done it perfectly right. If, for argument's sake, something went wrong there, you can come up here and click undo. It just undoes the last thing you've done to let you go at it again. Go back and do it again. So center line somewhere below there. Make sure you can even feel it on the mouse. When you get close to horizontal, it snaps onto it. Click again. So I want to put a distance between here and the halfway point. So if I click the line once, if I come up and click the circle once, it automatically selects the center for me. So what I'm going to do is set that to 0.5. Click OK. So now the distance from this line to the center, 0.5. So that line is basically what we're going to write on now. So when we start typing out our letters, they're going to sit on this line. So again, we're still in the sketch. We're still in the sketch tab. We're going to come up to this letter, which is called text. Click on text. So this is called guide curves. So you can write along a curved line as well. So our guide curve is this straight line. Okay. The text we're going to put in is Lego. We don't want to use document font. See this tick down here? That's why it's gone massive. So we're going to click don't use document font, and we're going to change the font to something we want ourselves. So click on that button there, font. And then we get an option for loads of different things. So it's up to yourself which one you use really. I have one in mind. There it is. Of course, it goes past it. So if your laptop is like mine or computer is like mine, sometimes it'll have a mind of its own. So what I'm looking for is elephant. There we go. So I want elephant. I'm going to change the size of the writing to 1mm. So the height to 1mm. And then click OK. Right. And I can see that my writing is fitting on lovely, but it's not in the center. So like on Microsoft Word, we have these options. So one puts it to the left, this one puts it to the right, and then this one puts it in the center. Okay, so there are your options. I want it in the center. Happy with that, so I'm going to click OK. So at the moment, that's just like you've drawn onto the surface. We haven't actually dug into the surface like it looks like on an actual Lego piece. So what we're going to do to make it look more realistic is come up here to the features tab, and we're going to go on extruded cut. So the button for extruded cut. So you can see it has automatically picked up the inside of the writing, so it's gone yellow. The depth we are going to set it to is 0.1. Okay, and we want the end condition to be blind still. So just to show you what that looks like. You can see that the arrow is pointing down the way, it's cutting in, and it's cutting in 0.1 millimeters. For example, it could be faced the other way, but that's not going to cut anything, there's nothing up there, so we need to face it down that way. So happy with that, click the green tick, and now we're going to have a look in at it from a 3D. Okay, so it looks pretty good, it looks the part. Okay, so for this next part, I'm going to look down on top. So the good news for us is we don't have to do this however many times we can fit it on the page. SolidWorks has a way of doing this for us. Okay, so what we're going to click on up here is we're in the features tab. We're going to click on linear pattern, and what we're going to do basically is copy this as many times as we can fit it on here. So what we're going to deal with first is direction 1. Okay, so direction 1, make sure this box is blue. I'm going to click this line here. I'm going to go down to features and faces next, and it might be easier if you put a slightly 3D and zoom in and make sure we're getting each feature. So there's our cut extrude in, it appears there. Next we want our boss extrude, and then we also want our fillets. So we want to hover over the fillets, and there they go. Right. So you can see it's putting it in, going in this direction, but go back up to direction 1. We want to go in the other direction, and There you go. It's going the right way, but the spacing is off. So what we're going to do now is change our spacing. So we want to change to 8 mil, and there it fits perfectly, and we want it to appear 4 times. So it's going perfectly this way in this direction. So now we're going to move on to direction 2, okay, which is going to be this line. We want to change this to 8 mil as well. Okay. And we want to flip the direction too because we want it to be on our piece. So happy with all those, click the green tick. There we have it, that saved as drawn all those again. It's done it all for us. So start to look the part now. Okay, so the next part is a little bit tricky to view, to kind of picture. So what we're going to do is press your space bar, we're going to look in from the bottom, and what we'll do next is click on this face here to turn blue for us, go to the sketch tab, sketch button. Now to make it a bit easier for us moving forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the view to wireframe. Okay, so there we go, wireframe. You're going to see why we do that in a second. So basically we're able to see through the whole object to what's on the other side. Okay. So to start sketching, we're going to go up to our options up here. We want a circle, but we don't want a normal, we want what's called a perimeter circle. So what we're going to draw now is basically the 3 cylinders that appear at the bottom of the Lego brick that help slot into another Lego brick. So what we want to do is with the perimeter circle, we want to, if you want to zoom in here now, we want to select the middle circle of each one. So if what happened to me happens to you, that doesn't look right, simply click undo. Okay. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to select perimeter circle again. I'm going to select the middle here. So the problem is I already have something to hover over. So press escape a few times, go back and start again. So perimeter circle. I want this one here. Now it's starting to work here. I want this one here. And this one here. Okay, so that's where I want the circle to appear. But at the moment, if I drag it, I can make that circle bigger. That's not what I want. So I'm just going to click undo there. What I want to make it happen is I want to hold control down on my keyboard, the bottom left button, click the outside of the circle, click this circle, make it tangential, click the green tick. I want to click this circle, and this one, make it tangent, the exact same. I want to click this one, make it tangent. Right, and now you can see it's changed from black to blue, or from blue to black, sorry. And now I can't move it, I can't drag it to a different size, it's fixed. Okay, so I'm going to do the exact same thing over this side. So I'm going to come up, I'm going to select perimeter circle, I'm going to click on the middle one, and again I think the same thing has happened to me for whatever reason. Yeah, so I'm going to press escape before I go any further, press it a few times, and start again. I'm going to click perimeter circle. So same thing again for some reason. Let's see will it go away. No. So click undo. Again, perimeter circle. So again, goes for the outside. Now, hopefully this one will stay. Yep. There we go. So for a perimeter circle to work, you have to have 3 points to reference off. So that's what we have there. So again, I could drag this and make it bigger. Because it's blue, I want to make it turn black on the outside. So I'm going to hold down Control, click this circle, and tangent. Hold down Control, this circle, tangent. Hold down Control, both those circles, and tangent. Okay, so those two are perfect, and then we got one in the middle. So put one in the middle, we have two options. We could do the exact same thing again, or because we're dealing with the origin here, we want the circle to be exactly on the origin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click a normal circle, and just, so I'll do that again, next thing I'm doing. So I'm going to click normal circle, I'm going to click on the origin, and drag out my circle, any size, and now I'm going to do what we done earlier. So I'm going to hold down Control, click this circle, click that circle, make it a tangent, and there we have it. It's black already, it can't be dragged to a different size, and it works out the exact same as the rest of them. So just to go over why it's important to make the circles turn black. So when they're blue, it means they're underdefined. That means that they can be dragged to a different position, or the size of them can be changed. When they're turned black, that means they're fully defined. That means they can't be moved. They know exactly where on the screen they're meant to be. That's what you want going forward. Because just for example, if I had to leave this one blue, and later on I was doing something completely different, but I happened to drag off this by accident, I could change the size without meaning to, and that would throw my whole project, and I might be able to figure out where it happened from. So you want everything to be fully defined as best as you can. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, to make this 3D, so if you look at a Lego block, the inside of these cylinders are going to be hollow. So instead of drawing a circle again, what I'm going to click on is, still in the Sketch tab, it's up here, it's called Offset Entities. Okay, and the number I'm going to put into Offset Entities is 0.3. Okay, 0.3 millimeters. And I'm just going to click on, I'll go again. So I've clicked on something completely wrong there, so I'm going to click on Undo. I'm going to come back in here. So start that again. So Offset Entities, keep it to 0.3 mil, and I want this circle. Okay, I want that circle, and I want that circle. As you can see, it's going the wrong way though. It's after being offset the wrong way, so I can click on Reverse, and it offsets it in the right direction. So I'm happy with that. Click the green tick. Okay. So my next job then is to make it 3D. So at the moment that's just a 2D sketch in there, so I'll put it back the way it was. They're just 2D sketches on that surface. What I want to do is go to the Features tab, click Extrude Boss Base. What I want this time though, for the end feature instead of, or the end condition, what I want is, instead of blind, I am going to select up to surface. Okay, so the surface I'm going to deal with, there. Okay. So for both those, I'm going to click on this face here, and that automatically gives us our distance. I click on the green tick, and there we have it. Okay, so I'm going to show you something now that is kind of above the level of secondary school, but it's a good thing to know, especially for anyone who goes on into maybe graphic design, product design, or fashion design, anything like that. This will be important moving forward. So if we go up to where it says Part up here, and if we right click on it, we get all this. Right? So if we go to material, we click edit material, all we get is, I'll just close this drop down arrow, all we get is a list of loads of different types of materials. So iron, woods, plastics, so on. Okay, so we can assign this object a material. So if we go to plastics, and they're going to put PVC onto it. So PVC rigid, click that. What you'll see here is it gives you all the properties. You can click on further things here. So you can change colors, the whole lot. So really that's above where we need to be. All we need to be able to do is pick a material, click apply, click close. And you can see it's changed the color already, and what appears over on our tree over here is PVC rigid for material. Alright? So being able to assign the material is as far as we need to be able to go with something like that. We don't need to know any more on it. But just to show you something, if you go to evaluate and see if I can spot it now. So I'm looking for mass properties. There it is. So it gives you all this information. So mass, so basically the weight of this object, tells you the volume, the surface area, okay, things like that. So nothing that we're going to need to know, but just something that you're aware of for down the line. Okay, so just say we want it to be made from PVC. Okay, so we're happy with our selection of material, but we don't want it to be white. Okay, so if we right click on anywhere on the object, this will appear. Okay, and if we go to appearances, click on that button, and we want to say this one will just deal with the face that we clicked on, this one will deal with the feature, this one with the whole body, this one with the whole part. So for example, if I want to change the color of the whole part, I can click on my different options on here. So I'm going to leave it at green. Okay, there we go. Then if I want to change maybe just one face, so say if I want to click on just this face, click on appearances, on face, and now I can make this one yellow. Right, so now I have one yellow face, everything else is green. So what I would like you to do now is, first of all, save. We haven't saved in quite a while, and then play around with making different faces and different parts of this, different colors. So the aim is to have a different color on each face and a different color on each part of these. Okay, so for anyone who is finished fully with this video and there is more than 10 minutes left in the class, you're going to get a head start. What I want you to do is create a rendered sketch of this object. So what I mean by rendered is basically create a sketch and color it in. Right? So that is part of the marks going for this part of the module. So you're going to have to create it on SolidWorks and sketch it. If there is less than 10 minutes left, I would like you to start saving up, make sure you know where this is saved, and upload your finished object onto Teams. So what you'll have when you're fully done is you'll have this SolidWorks model uploaded to Teams, and you'll take a picture of your sketch and also upload that to Teams. And that's how you will end up everything for me for this year. Okay, so if you got this far, well done.